And welcome, Fertility Tribe. How are we all today? Welcome, Jamie. Welcome, Jamie K. Welcome, Renata. Would you like to say hello? Computer malfunction. Hi, Jamie. Would you like to say hello? How have you been?
Hi, that was me with the echo. I was trying to get on my phone.
Oh, that's all
So
right.
anyway, hi everyone. Hope everyone's well.
Welcome. How's your week been?
Not the best. Not the best, just a lot of emotional stuff going on and family stuff. But for now I'm just kind of keeping my distance from my family, and today's my birthday, so I'm just like
Oh,
trying to take it easy.
oh. Well, this is your Earth Day, darling. I'm so glad you're here with your fertility tribe, because we're like your soul family. Okay, so today
Yeah.
we might even sing to you at the end of this, like maybe a little happy.
Okay.
All right, I
46 today.
36.
46 actually.
You
Four.
you look 36 to me. You look
I
so
know. I
beautiful.
know.
Happy birthday, goddess, darling. This is
Thank you.
a Gemini. You're a Gemini. I love
Yes.
Geminis.
Yeah, me too.
My moon's in Gemini. My rising is Gemini. So I relate to Gemini. So, darling, we have a lot in common. So, sister, welcome. So good to have you on board. Renata, how are you?
I find the mute button. I'm good. Greg's here. Say hi, Greg.
Great.
Hello. Yeah.
Oh, sweetheart. So good to have you on board. It's great to have husbands a part of this. Thank you for joining. Thank you for listening and tuning in each week. It's great to have you. How are those baby ducks going? How are those baby ducks?
Oh, baby ducks, they're gone now.
Oh, they're gone. Oh my
They
God.
they go to the water and they go to the big river, and we
Yeah.
won't see them unless kayaking, and then we might see them along the riverbanks. So yeah, along with all the other baby ducks. Yeah.
That was amazing. So Renata had all these little baby ducks. They all hatched and they birthed. And last week it was just all happening for her at home.
It was crazy. It was so exciting. I couldn't focus at work. I put it on Facebook. I had all these views.
Well,
And then the next day we had our wedding anniversary of 10 years. So it was a big full week.
darling, happy anniversary. This is a big
Thank you.
week. Well, we're going to lift Jamie up. All right. So let's make this start, shall we? So today I'm going to be talking about managing and mastering weight during perimenopause. It's something that I want to delve deeper into, because as women, the women tend to gain weight during perimenopause, and there are changes in our sex hormones that affect insulin, and it's how we manage weight gain, along with the best types of exercises to keep you fit and energized, to support your fertility journey, as well as ways to shift and lift your mindset and embrace this new chapter with positivity. All right, so why does it seem like we're all putting on weight during perimenopause? And I want you to know that you're not alone. And why is that? Is because during this transition, about 70% of women experience weight gain. So we're going to break it down. Why does it happen? Why does perimenopausal weight gain happen? So it's, first of all, we've got lots of hormonal changes, and the primary driver of weight gain during perimenopause is the fluctuation of the hormones, especially estrogen. Okay, both high, we can have high estrogen and we can have low estrogen, but both of them can lead to fat accumulation, and it's particularly around that abdominal area. We call it the daimai in Chinese medicine. So estrogen helps regulate insulin sensitivity, and as estrogen levels become lower, women will become more resistant to the effects of insulin. It makes sense, doesn't it? And this can lead to high blood sugar levels, increased fat storage, and it's just that difficulty losing weight around the belly mainly. Now that belly around the fat, we often refer to it as visceral fat. It's often termed the dangerous fat, and it refers to that fat within the abdominal cavity, and it's surrounding the vital organs. So this is, you know, your liver, your pancreas, and your intestines. And this belly fat is more than just a concern of how it looks. You know, obviously we don't like the way that it looks, but there's also that increased risk of metabolic conditions such as metabolic syndrome. We've got insulin resistance, we've got type 2 diabetes, fatty liver, and also cardiovascular disease. So this is, you know, this is a massive increased risk there. We've also got a slower metabolism during perimenopause. Now, aging, it naturally slows down the metabolism. Now, this means that your body uses fewer calories to maintain itself, making weight gain more likely, and especially if your dietary habits, if they remain unchanged. We've also got a loss of muscle mass. So we call this in, you know, in medicine, sarcopenic obesity. All right, and this happens with age. There's a natural decline in the muscle mass combined with an increase in body fat, and then the metabolic rate is decreased, and then the insulin resistance is due to those changes. And it just means that, you know, it lowers the body's ability to, you know, burn more calories. And so if we're not diligent about eating protein, and, you know, I try to get my patients to do some strength training, some resistance training to help our muscle mass, because it's declining as we age. We've also got sleep disruptions during perimenopause. Now, many women experience sleep problems during perimenopause, and it's due to the night sweats and other symptoms. And that poor sleep can lead to, you know, appetite, you know, changes in appetite and cravings. Particularly, we're reaching then for, you know, higher calorie, carby, sugary foods. All right. And the stress is going to be elevated during perimenopause. And you know, if we look at what stress, it triggers cortisol. Now, cortisol, it's a hormone that can promote fat storage, particularly around that midsection. And the fluctuating moods. Now, this can influence your energy levels, your dietary choices, and your output. So that makes sense. There's tendency also in perimenopause just to be less physically active. Now, many women, they just experience that decline in their energy levels and that motivation, and it leads to that lower output of exercise. So if we start living that sedentary lifestyle, now I've noticed that as I've aged, you know, sitting down, I used to stand a lot more. So what I've done just recently is I've got myself a stand-up desk. So I'm going up, down, up, down, up, down, and I'm just changing the gear, and I'm feeling like standing on my feet, right? There's something about it. It's better for your cognition, and we're not designed to sit all day. So I was feeling that pull to be more sedentary. All right. So, you know, it's common for us. So being sedentary, it can exacerbate that insulin resistance, and which is linked together with the greater weight gain and the higher risk of obesity. So then we've also just got all the symptoms. Now, all the symptoms, about 67 up to 70 symptoms of perimenopause, signs and symptoms. That sounds a lot. Now, I'm just going to mention a few, but when you're going through all these signs and symptoms, and there are a lot, and a lot of women may have about 40 of them. Okay, that's a lot of signs and symptoms to be going through at once. So if you're battling this, it's a form of stress on the body. You know, we've got irregular periods, hot flashes, night sweats, vaginal dryness. We've also got, you know, symptoms of decreased libido, breast tenderness, hair loss, muscle loss. We've got brain fog, memory lapses. These are the cognitive changes. Even anxiety, depression, you know, the mood is just shifting. Now, all of these are a lot to just deal with, even if it was one of them. But imagine 40 symptoms to be dealing with during perimenopause. And then the not so common symptoms. This is one that I had just recently, burning mouth syndrome. And this poor patient of mine was really struggling. Just, you know, it was constant, not just at night, you know, that we would associate with yin deficiency. It was happening all the time for her. So this affected her her choices, the foods that she was eating. She was reaching more for smoothies, which was actually making, it was counterproductive. It was making all this internal cold and making things worse for her fertility. And then, you know, there's other signs and symptoms, ringing in the ears, tinnitus, we call it, electric shock sensation, tingling in the fingers. There can be not just even hot flushes, chills, cold flashes. You know, there's just a plethora of things. And then there's this metallic taste. This is another common one, which I'll often see, a metallic taste in the mouth. Now, this is often the metal element in Chinese medicine. We look at the lungs and large intestine, often that pathology there. But from a Western medicine perspective, you know, we're going to be thinking, is it B12 deficiency? Is there zinc deficiency? All right, so all of these signs and symptoms, of course, if you're struggling with all of these signs and symptoms, there's going to be weight gain. There's going to be changes in your metabolic rate. All right, so let's look at some strategies. I'm all about solutions. Don't come to me with your problems. Oh, well, you can, but I'm going to come bring you back lots of solutions. So let's talk solutions, because that's why we're here. So big tips is a relatively high protein diet. Now, it's not like I'm saying go into keto. I'm not saying that. We want to just make sure you're getting the right amount of protein. And I'm often getting my patients to do food diaries when they start working with me, because a lot of them don't have enough protein. So we want to aim for about 60 to 100 grams of protein a day, if not more. Now, we want to start with 30 grams of protein at breakfast. So I love the Mediterranean diet, you know, the paleo diet, an anti-inflammatory diet, but it's inclusive of things. I'm not so much excluding carbs because we need them to ovulate. So, you know, the reality is I do like the Mediterranean diet because it's been around for eons of time and it just works for the metabolism and it maintains that lean muscle mass. So, yeah, if we look at protein also, protein is also essential. It's the building block. It's the building block of embryos when it comes to your fertility, and it's vital for egg production and egg quality, and it's for the growth of the endometrial lining and also the sperm production and for making FSH and LH. So we want to have lots of protein. So what is it? Protein sources at every meal. So, you know, when we're looking at it, it's found in eggs, it's found in your bone broth, all your meats and chicken and poultry and fish. Even then, if we go to seeds like quinoa, I love it because it's carbohydrate rich, but it's also a complete protein. Quinoa is very warming of the kidney yang. I love it. You know, you can just add anything to your quinoa and then there you go. It's a complete meal. But we've got nuts and seeds. You know, I'm not a fan of loading up protein shakes, but if you are doing them, have them with collagen or whey protein powder. And then all your protein-rich vegetables, and that's Brussels sprouts and broccoli, spinach, edamame, asparagus, avocado. So just try and look at your plate and say, where's the protein? Yeah, so yeah, we need lots of protein. Then in addition to that, to help reduce your hunger cravings and, you know, reduce your hunger, I want fiber. Like this is one of those big things. We're not getting enough fiber. I'm seeing a lot of issues with people's emptying capacity. So we want the motility of the bowel working. So fiber, it's good for your intestines. It's good for your microbiome, your estrobolome, which helps you metabolize your estrogens. All right, so we want fiber and prebiotic rich food. Okay, and it's great because it helps regulate blood sugar levels, it promotes satiety, and it supports the digestive health. So what are they? Examples. So if we're looking at fiber and prebiotic foods, we're thinking oats, we're thinking, you know, berries, artichokes, what else? Dandelion greens, asparagus, you know, chicory. And then I really like the cooked and cooled potatoes. You know, potatoes are not the enemy, guys. I love them because they're that resistant starch and it's a form of prebiotic. So cook your potatoes, cool them, and then eat them. It's resistant starch. It's great for your gut. Then we want to look at your probiotic foods as well. Probiotic foods are known for, you know, the gut health. But, you know, if we look at the gut health, it plays a big part in perimenopause because the gut's supporting everything. It's supporting cognition. It's supporting the hormone production. It's helping, you know, with absorption and then inflammation. So, you know, add some probiotics into your meals, and you can add them like some kefir or some kimchi, sauerkraut. Sometimes I'll just add a tablespoon of that if I'm doing an egg scramble with some spinach. Or you could consider just taking a probiotic supplement. Now, if you are getting some of this weight gain and you're just going, right, let's start to, you know, address these kilos by focusing on your gut metabolism. So these are really good strategies. Then we want to look at limiting your sugars that, you know, these are the added sugars. These are the added sugars. And this is where we have to become little fertility detectives, because the world is working against us. You know, we're in a polluted world and everything is just, we've got to read the labels on things. So using the app Yuka, Y-U-K-A, you can scan the barcodes and you can literally look at the labels. So that way you're not, you can see where the sugars are coming in and see what the labels are saying, because a lot of the time they'll, you know, we really, you know, getting scammed and these sugars come in and, you know, we're not seeing it because we're in control of the fresh produce and things that we are buying. But, you know, the added sugars in the labels, sometimes they're like scary and you want to look at them. We also want to limit the liquid calories. All right. I know everyone likes wine fixes everything for women, especially in perimenopause. You see it on TikTok and Instagram all the time, all of these memes of women, it's wine o'clock. And I get it, you know, and for me, I'm guilty as charged because I really do love my Pinot Noir. But, you know, I'm going through a phase now. It's just not working for me. It's, you know, these added kilos that I'm going, right. And I've literally taken out those empty calories and, you know, already 4 kilos down. Thank you very much. All right. But it takes commitment to do that because wine is a habit. All right. And if you look at what, you know, the calories in wine, about 100 to 150 calories if you're doing the large pour like me. All right. So we want to just, you know, address those, you know, liquid calories because it increases estrogen and other hormones. It increases our appetite. It disrupts our blood sugar and it just reduces our ability to burn fat. And by up as much to, you know, 73%. It's because the liver, interestingly with wine, it's going to prioritize breaking down the alcohol first before the other substances like fat. So this is then going to, you know, create more fat distribution around that midsection, as well as disrupting your sleep. So, you know, just ask your liver, wine, it needs to go. And I'm crying as I'm saying this, guys, because this one's a tough one for me too. All right, so let's look at exercise strategies. So as I mentioned before, I like to implement some strength training, resistance training. Now, this doesn't mean, all right, that you have to, you know, I think people get afraid of going to gyms and pumping iron, but don't be afraid of lifting weights. I was afraid. I used to just get shy in the gym. I'm a shy person. I know that sounds crazy, but I'm an oxymoron. But I used to feel very intimidated going into a gym. But now I go with my bestie and I've got my BFF with me. And, you know, we do some weight training together and we do 3 sessions a week and we'll break it up into, you know, chest, bis and tris one day, back and shoulders the next day, and then the third training will be a leg train. So we kind of break it down into the muscle groups. So I get 3 resistant trainings. I like to then implement some yoga or Pilates, all right, because you can use your body weight in those exercises, and that gives you the strength training. So if it's not, you know, the weight training that floats your boat, find what it is, because it's about, you know, finding what makes you happy. Find your joy in what you want to do to help burn the calories, and then it's going to boost the metabolism even at rest. But these things, when you're doing the resistance training and the strength training, it's going to support the bone health, which is super important as we age because osteoporosis is more prevalent in perimenopause and that transition into menopause. So it's crucial that you start to do that now. Find that what it is. Now, if you're just walking along, sometimes you have those open parks and they've got those little, you know, those monkey bars. So you can go and, you know, get on the monkey bars, do some planks, you know, you can do some push-ups, you know, try and do a chin-up, you know, underarm grip. Woo! Overarm grip, even better. They're the hardest. I find chin-ups the hardest thing to do. But I'm just saying, use what's around you and find the things that make you happy. And sometimes, you know, outside when no one's around, you can just jump on those you know, those apparatuses and just rep them out. Every rep counts, as my bestie says to me. Cardiovascular exercise, we want to look at that. And when I say this, it's not like we have to start running. I'm not a fan of running in perimenopause. I'm all about time on feet. So I like to recommend, you know, active walking. Brisk walking is the word. Brisk, make it fast. And, you know, so it's not like andante at a walking pace, you know, like, you know, don't go so slow-mo that you're not even doing anything. We want it brisk and crisp and fast. And if you are wanting to run, you know, interval running, so jog, run, sprint, jog, walk, you know, interval it. So you're breaking it down. You know, that's a little bit of the HIIT, this interval training, high intensity interval training. I think that is really good when people are a bit short on time. So you can do that. And it's just short bursts of intense exercise followed by periods of lower intensity exercise. So, you know, they even have HIIT classes you can do. All right. But it's about finding what works for you. You know, I have other patients, they love their low impact aerobics. So, you know, I don't mind what it is. Low impact aerobics in the water supports the joints. So water aerobics, or it could be just the step aerobics, or it could be, you know, just dancing, you know, a tango class. It could be, you know, a breakdance class, you know, whatever it is. You know, I even have some of my patients that love ballet and they're doing mature ballet. Anyway, it's just about finding the thing that makes you smile. All right, some supplements, we're going to cover these that can support perimenopausal weight loss. I find, you know, some of my patients, they might be on the low estrogen side. So we want to find maybe some supplements that contain phytoestrogens. I know what they are. They're compounds that are naturally found in plants and they mimic the effects of estrogen in the body. So it can be things like black cohosh, red clover, shatavari. All right, so you can find these supplements. In Chinese medicine, we often will integrate them into your formulas when we're working on building that anyway. Inositol, this is another favorite. No, my two favorites are inositol and berberine. These are two really big ones, and I'll often use this if you do have PCOS. Okay, so inositol, it's a vitamin-like substance present in many foods, but, you know, it works on that perimenopause weight loss by regulating insulin sensitivity. So it also supports fat metabolism. So we want about 2,000 milligrams a day, usually the myo-inositol, all right? And then I dispense berberine through RN Labs. It's called Berbersorb, but you can find it. It's just, you know, what I like is the RN Labs Berbersorb is that it's in a phospholipid complex for maximum absorption. So it's going to, you know, I've just seen it with patients that have high cholesterol, metabolic disorders, blood sugar issues, and it's just a really good combo, myo-inositol and berberine. Then, and for that, for berberine, we're looking anywhere up to 500 milligrams, and you can dose it up to 2 to 3 times a day. All right. So yeah, berberine is a big one. Creatine. Now, I'll often use this because it's great for improving muscle strength and promoting fat loss. So it's a compound involved in energy production. So it's a great combo with your resistance training. You'll see a lot of people in the gym, they're all on creatine. And so this is something that you could consider in perimenopause, especially if you're finding that the body fat content is rising, your BMI is going higher, then you could add around 3 to 5 grams a day of creatine. Clearly, probiotics, I've mentioned that in food above, but, you know, the reality is probiotics, you can get, you know, make sure that you're looking for a probiotic supplement if you're taking it with 30 to 40 billion colony forming units. We call them CFUs. And yeah, so you can take 1 a day, up to 3 a day. You can take a probiotic with or without food. Just make sure it's not with hot drinks because it denatures the probiotics. But it's going to improve your gut health and metabolism, reduces inflammation. It modulates the hormones. all right? And it's going to help with your, appetite and, fix the gut microbiome and the issue below. Omega-3 fatty acids, this is something else to consider. It's also found in your fatty fish, your flax seeds, your walnuts, and it's great because in perimenopause, it's good for supporting the blood lipids involved in cardiovascular health, inflammation, all right, and also, if there's inflammation, then obviously it's going to enhance the fat metabolism. So we want around 1,000 to 3,000 milligrams of your fish oil supplements, and it's going to support your heart health and your cognition. So I do like the omega-3 fatty acids. Vitamin D for mood, vitamin D for bone density. We often find that low vitamin D levels, and this is usually a lack of, caused, in part by a lack of sun exposure. And we, especially if we've come out of the winter months. But, when there's low vitamin D, there's often a higher risk of metabolic syndrome and weight gain. And so you want around 4,000 to 5,000 IU, especially if we're working with fertility and equality, all right? And it's going to support the weight loss. So yeah, 4,000 to 5,000 IU. Often you can get it in the droppers. I like to liquid dose the vitamin D3 with the K2. And, it's great for bone health, heart health, mood health, hormone balance and mood. So, vitamin D is something I'd recommend, whether you've got weight gain or not, because it's going to support your fertility. So I have all my patients on vitamin D. Your B vitamins are important. Often you'll have these in your preconception preconception multivitamins. And we want particularly B6, B12 and your folate. All right. And, all of these play a role in your neurotransmitters, right? This is your mood and your energy. Then magnesium, this is something I have every single patient on. All right. This is great for weight management because it reduces blood sugar. It normalizes the insulin. It supports the thyroid health. It calms the nervous system. It fuels the healthy mitochondria and it activates vitamin D. So magnesium's in. It's great because it also enhances the production of glutathione. So magnesium, magnesium bisglycinate is the best. It's the most absorbable form. But, if you've got issues with constipation, then it might be magnesium citrate. Okay, you just want to find the right magnesium for your type. But it's a number one thing that I have most of my patients on that are trying to conceive. Adaptogenic herbs. So if you've got, high cortisol, I will look at ashwagandha or rhodiola. Or if there is low cortisol, we want to lift the cortisol up, then licorice. Now we want to support cortisol because, as I said above, it works on that fat, that adipose tissue. So if your cortisol's out, we want to make sure that it's balanced. All right. So we want to regulate that. Just know that the adaptogenic herbs, you don't take those when you're pregnant. So you cease taking them when you get a positive pregnancy test. Now I'm going to just jump quickly into the TCM perspective because remember, I'm a doctor of Chinese medicine. I'm always going to infuse the Chinese medicine with the integrative medicine. And so in Chinese medicine, we're really looking at what are the drivers, what's leading to the underlying imbalance. And, often when there's weight gain, we look at, what are the issues? There's usually issues with the spleen, the liver and the kidney. And then there can be patterns of dampness and stagnation and heat. All right. So some of the formulas I might use, GRP1, this is strengthen the spleen. And what I like about this formula, it eliminates dampness, it promotes digestion. It's really good when there's bloating and you've got that sluggish metabolism and that feeling of heaviness. Bao-He-1, it's a formula that I will use when when there's been overeating. So, I've used this with a lot of my Jewish patients when they've got Passover and there's a lot of eating and so there's overeating and there's, they might be consuming some greasy food. So they'll get their Bao-He-1 and it's great. It's one of those awesome formulas to promote digestion and remove food stagnation. So that's the key takeaway with Bao-He-1. Pingwei-san, it calms the stomach powder. This is a great one because it dries dampness, improves the stomach qi, promotes digestion. And then we've got Wuling Sun. This is when there's a lot of water and dampness and water retention. Okay, so I love this. It helps regulate the fluid metabolism. And then Urchin Tongue. This is a famous formula. I use this for a lot of things, but it transforms phlegm, dries dam, regulates the chi. And I'll often use this for chronic digestive issues with weight gain that's related to the excess dam and phlegm. Then if I'm looking at some acupuncture points, so I'll always be working on the stomach and spleen. So stomach 36, the earth of the earth, Zuzan Li. And why I'm doing that? Because we pound this point, so hammer this point 36 times. It's just below the knee on the anterior aspect of the shin. And if you look at that tibialis interior, like this shin bone, I call it the runner's splint, the runner's shin. So the entire shin is the stomach channel. So you can actually pummel this beautiful shin, both sides, clearly like this. I call it the tympanic drum. And I love it because it strengthens the stomach and spleen. It boosts the energy, great for runners and shin splints, but it's just crucial for weight management. So this is something in Qigong we do as a warm-up. We will bend our knees and we will just pummel stomach 36, Zuzan Li. That's what it's called in Pinyin. Sun Yin Jiao, spleen 6 on the inner leg, just above the ankle. It's the meeting point of the spleen, the kidney, and the liver. It's particularly good for treating gynecological issues and promoting fertility, but it's great for supporting the yin and, the digestion, okay? Ren 12 on the hara, it's literally on the upper abdomen. It's between the belly button and the bra strap on the midline. It regulates the stomach and spleen. So if I stand up, it's really just that midpoint there on the stomach. And it's effective. I often will use this for promoting and, enhancing the metabolism. And then we use the ear points in Chinese medicine. I love the ear points because the auricular ear points, we can work, it's an upside down fetus. We can work on your fertility, but we can work on weight loss. So I will often needle Shunmen, stomach, and the endocrine points in the ear. And, all of these points, they can be, help reduce your appetite, calm the mind, and then optimize the metabolic and hormonal functions. So the ear points are powerful. So get your acupuncturist to needle those points. Lastly, I'm just going to mention the Yin Wei Mai. All right, the Yin Wei Mai, this is an extraordinary 8 vessel. It's also known as the Yin linking vessel, and I like it because it treats the stomach. Okay, it treats the stomach. It supports all the qi and blood in the yin meridians. And what I love about it is that there's only 2 points. So 2 points. Pericardium 6 is the master point. So we open with pericardium 6. And then we couple it with spleen 4, which is the gong sun. It's the distal and inferior point if you look at your big toe, follow that metatarsal, right? And it's inferior to the base of that bone, okay? Spleen 4. So 2 points, pericardium 6 on the right if you're a woman, and then spleen 4 on the left. We close with that point. Well, what I love about the Yin Wei Mai in terms of psychology is that it helps us with transitions in life. And remember, perimenopause is a transition. It's a life transition. It's a rite of passage. And often this time, there's a lot of low self-worth and being trapped in emotions and not letting go and not being able to be in the moment and having difficulty with the self-image. Okay, so that self-image that's associated with aging. It can also be used for broken heart or anxiety and depression. So the Yin Wei Mai is one of my favorites for perimenopause and weight gain and supporting your fertility. All right. I'm doing these talks. Last week I did a little bit on perimenopause as well. And so I'm kind of keeping a bit of a theme going here. I'm wanting to reframe perimenopause so that women can embrace this new chapter with more positivity and support. So I'm an advocate for this because when you know what you're going through, then you know how to treat it. Because often you just think, what's happening to me? And it's like, right, we need to reframe it. And it comes through awareness and these wonderful conversations. So just know that what you're going through is valid and you've got to validate your emotions first. I had a patient today and she said, I'm just feeling like I'm flogging a dead horse. That's what she said. And I said to her, and I'm going to say this because it's important, you've got to honor the emotions first. They're valid. They're here. They need to be vented. They need to be honored. And so we want to validate the feelings and the emotions first and foremost. Then what do? Then I said to her, what are you going to do right now? What can you do right now? What's one thing, one practice or task that you can do right now? And what is that? So it could be, for you, it might be just going for a walk. It could be going to the ocean, practicing some mindfulness breathing. I call it pranayama in yoga, some breath work. It could be box breathing. It could be a body scan meditation where you just scan your body from the head all the way to the toe, observing where there's pain, where there's tension, where there's warmth, where there's relaxation without judgment. It could be, all right, let's have a bath in Epsom salts, but let's get the lavender ones because the lavender ones taste and smell much better than the plain ones. But I'm just saying, lavender is relaxing. So, make it sexy, make it fun. Wear your sexy lingerie under your work clothes. So we want to, make you the goddess in this phase, spending more time in nature. All right, setting daily intentions before you leave home. It's literally whatever makes you feel good. Putting flowers. I love flowers. Oriental lilies are my favorite flowers in the world. They inspire joy in my face. So you can see that. All right, and remember this. Joy is better than any vitamin, than any supplement, than any herbal formula you can take. So we've got to find the joy in our life. All right. So by reframing perimenopause as a time for engaging in new wellness practices, all right, taking on the task of education, like turning up to these meets and advocacy, all right, it can transform this transition and with positivity and empowerment. So as always, I want to thank you. Thank you for being here each week. Thank you for joining me. And now I'm going to open up some questions. So what I'll get you to do is open up the questions and unmute yourself, say hello, bring your questions to me. Jamie, do you have a question? Or Renata? Yeah.
Kind of a question. I guess I'm gonna have personal here. The Chinese herbs that I've been taking with your guidance and so on, are those reversing perimenopause? They seem to, but I'm not sure.
Well, the thing is, we are preserving your gene. We are actually accessing, we're taking off the layers, we are moving the stagnation, getting rid of the cold, and so it feels like I'm reverse engineering, but I'm actually just bringing out what's there. It's actually been there all along, that jing and that essence. It's just revealing itself now, and that's what happens when we have stagnation in the way, all right? And it's about understanding what's there, where's the obstruction, or is it coming from depletion? So if we can get your body to actually work efficiently, to ovulate properly, which is what we've done through this, and you go, oh my gosh, she's reversed me, she's amazing. But it's actually you're doing the work. It's just finding out what's the key in the lock. And that's the thing about Chinese medicine I do love, is that it's not one size fits all. We actually find out your unique pattern and go, right, because not everyone has cold, not everyone has stagnation, but we all have that jing and essence. We've just got to find, how do we access the well? How do we access the well?
Got it.
Cool.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Hi,
Jamie.
it's Jamie. Was I gonna ask you about like things like the stress? So when you're saying that you use magnesium for everybody, my psychiatrist suggests I use magnesium for, to help me sleep and relax, so reduce the stress. And then he also said that for some people, because I have bladder issues, that if you take it in the morning, it will help relax like the bladder spasms at nighttime, but not to take it at night.
Yeah.
Have you heard of that?
Yeah, no. Well, it makes sense though. If there are bladder issues and you might be too relaxed at night, yeah, it's finding out when is the right time to take it for your pathology. You know, I have some patients, it makes them too active, you know, it stimulates things too much for them. They feel like, all right.
Oh,
But most of my patients, they find that it does relax them and it helps them with their mood and cognition and going to sleep. But yeah, if it is affecting your bladder issues, then take it in the morning. Yeah, you can take it morning and night. Yeah.
you haven't started yet. I actually have it here. I have the it's powder, magnesium citrate
Okay, great.
is the one.
This will bring more water into the bowel as well. All right. So if
Okay.
with any form of constipation, any difficulty evacuating the bowels, it's certainly great. But yeah, fantastic. Good.
That's good because I don't have regular.
You don't? Yeah. Okay. Well, then that's the one for you.
No.
Yeah. And so he said to take it in the morning, did he?
Yeah, he said just try it in the morning. I don't get up very early, but to try it like when I get up kind of thing.
Yeah, great. You can do it in the morning. Absolutely. Like the great thing about magnesium, it's not like there's one size fits all. I usually like to take it before bed because for me, it calms my nervous system and it just helps. I suffer from anxiety. So it helps me just go off to sleep and I don't have any restless sleep. So for me, I'm using it more for that. But yeah, it's
Okay.
great for working on the blood sugar and the insulin. It's certainly going to help you, you know, not only just with your urination, but with weight management.
Okay. I don't know why I bought it like more than a week ago, but I haven't
Well,
tried it.
start today,
Sometimes I do that. I buy
darling.
things and I'm like, oh, I don't know when to do it, and
I
I don't
can't.
want to start for some reason.
Well, my husband and I, we're like literally once our magnesium is getting low, we're like, we need more magnesium now, quickly, get it now. We won't miss a dose. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Let me know how.
Another question of
Sure.
sorry.
Yeah.
Another question about when, like, I know everyone talks about hot flashes. I never heard about cold flashes before, but like, if hot flashes, like, I know I must be in perimenopause. I'm sure of that. I'm 46 now, and I've had like different symptoms over the years and different, like irregular periods sometimes over the years now, over the past couple of years, like intense mood swings and depression, anxiety, and all sorts of things. But I don't know if I have hot flashes or not. Like, is it during the day and night or just one or the other?
It can be in the day or the night. Generally at nighttime, I tend to find that it's more triggered, but it can be at any point. Yeah. Sometimes I've had patients that will have them every half an hour, and they can be lasting every 3 to 5 minutes, you know, when it's quite severe. And this was like 24 hours. It was quite
Oh,
patient. Yeah, I find if you are having them, my favorite remedy is acupuncture. Acupuncture is incredible for hot flashes.
I still don't know if I have them. Like, at nighttime, I don't have it all the time. Like, sometimes I feel like I'm sweating a lot, but only at the beginning of the night. And then I don't know if it's because my room's really hot and then it cools off towards the morning.
Right.
In the
Okay.
morning, it's chillier.
Okay. Interesting. So when you get into bed, does the room feel hot when you get into bed?
Because I don't have air conditioner I'm in an apartment. It's in the living room, so it doesn't get really in there. So, and I have to sleep with like a blanket or a sheet because I just have to put something over me.
Yeah, I
I think
understand.
that's part of the problem.
Yeah. Well, if you're sweating when you first go to bed, you know, that can be like a depletion of yin. So what we could do is calm the nervous system before you get into bed. All right. Especially you're not doing the magnesium before bed. Now, this will also help with your urination too. All right. Because Viparita Karani, it's a pose that we do in yoga and it's legs up the wall. So your legs are my forearm. All right. And they're vertical towards a wall and your torso is on the floor. So it's at a right angle. And it's great because it aids that venous blood return back to the heart. Okay. It's going to calm the shin, calm the nervous system, and it's going to pool all of this energy in your reproductive organs, which is great. And that includes your urinary tract. All right. So it's going to support the bladder function. It's going to support all those reproductive organs too. So it's inverted, and it's just a restorative pose that you can do for about 5 or 10 minutes. I often will use a rolled up towel. Now, this is my mouse pad, but you can use a rolled up piece of towel or an eye pillow over your eyes, because when you surrender the eyes in Chinese medicine, it calms the heart and nervous system. And that way we'll see, by doing this for 10 minutes or 15 minutes before bed, see if that then cools the body down. Like, it's going to help regulate your blood pressure as well. So that way we'll see.
Do it, because I'm not like that. I have a lot of physical health things right now, so I wouldn't be able to do that kind of position.
Well, what you can do, even if you're laying in bed, all right, what if you're laying in bed, you can put pillows under your knees so your feet are elevated above your heart. So, you know, the pillows that are under your neck, you know, if you can use just even a small pillow for your head, but put those 2 pillows, stack them on top so your knees are at a right angle. So they're like this. And that way your feet are above your heart. So it's actually giving you the same action of Viparita Karani without being like flush against the wall. All right, if you've got difficulty pose. Yeah, so just raise your feet above the heart, honey. And I would be doing that. It'll help regulate the sweat. Yeah, because you don't want to be sweating when you get straight into bed. You want to go into a restful sleep. So already that's telling me your sleep is restless. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Totally.
And you can do some lower diaphragm. This is also a beautiful practice to do that I get with all of my patients. Place one hand on the heart, the other hand can go on the belly, all right? And you're just letting the belly rise and fall. You keep the heart still, so the chest is still, but it's your belly rising and falling. And what we're doing is expanding the breath as we breathe in, and then let it excavate to the spine as you exhale. So expand, breathe in, exhale, let it recede. Expand, breathe in, let it recede. Doing the breath control, the feet elevated above the heart, I'm going to tell you that your sleep is going to change. Because if we can fix your nervous system, Jamie, we're going to fix your mood. We're going to fix
Yeah.
You see?
I need to fix my mood and get like more energy.
Yes. Well, then start taking your magnesium. Like, you know what you're going to do today when you get off this call?
What?
You can go and mix up some magnesium for me.
Oh, it's nighttime here. It's like
Right, it's 8 p.m.
PM.
Oh, there we go. All right.
Yeah.
When you wake up tomorrow morning, put your magnesium on the bench so it's there, ready to go. And it's about consistency. So with the magnesium, don't miss a day. Be really diligent with this, because I think this could be a game changer for you, Jamie, in terms of mood, insulin, urination. Like it's got so many enzymatic functions that it does in the body. This could be a missing link for you. So I want you to tomorrow. Pinky swear, pinky swear.
Yeah.
Seal it.
Do I have to, sorry, one more last question. Does it have to be taken apart from other medications? Because I take like other medications in the morning. Is it supposed to be separate?
Good question. So I find, because, you know, it's very active, you know, magnesium. If I take it before food, it's too sensitive on my tummy. Okay, that's just me personally. All right. If you've got a robust constitution, now I find most people don't have robust constitution. So I usually will have a meal and then do it after the meal. So you've got food in the belly. Yeah.
Okay, you said something about vitamin D. So can I put those together?
And
yeah.
Okay. You want to make sure, because it's water, fat soluble. Vitamin D needs to be taken with something that contains a fat. So it could be, all right, you know, some avocado on some rice crackers, or have some handful of nuts and seeds. All right. So you want to just make sure, that you take that. Yeah. So just to make sure that it's got something that contains some fat in it. And then you can.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Welcome. You're so welcome. Karen, do you have any questions for me? Would you like to unmute yourself? Ask me any questions. Renata, do you have any more questions?
I don't. Greg, do you have any questions?
Greg.
I can't think of any. I'm sorry.
He's good.
Right,
I
Karen.
think we're all.
Okay, no problem. Karen, I saw you try to turn on your camera. Would you like to
Yeah.
come on board?
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Luna.
Hello.
Yeah. So I am look looking also in your eh, Instagram. So I
Yes.
am trying to buy your the supplements
Yes.
that you are there. But so I don't find that link so to exactly buy them. So could you please yeah, paste the link exactly to buy these supplements? So I have
And I'll drop the link in the chat.
Oh, we'll drop the link in the chat for you.
yeah, please.
Yeah.
I know that so for girls like more than 40 that it is better so to take the CoQ10 but ubiquinone, right? So not that, yeah, so that is more helpful. And I am trying to so find so in the web, because so in the pharmacies there are no ubiquinone. So I just thought that you have it, but I cannot. Oh, get
There's the
okay.
link.
Thank you.
You're
Yeah.
welcome.
Yeah. So it is true that for girls over 40, so it is better to take CoQ10 ubiquinone, right? Because it's
Either
more.
or. Either or.
Okay.
Either or. Yeah, either or.
The link for the supplement store is in the chat.
It's just if you're doing the CoQ10, you know, about 600 milligrams, the ubiquinol, you just halve the dose.
Okay. Okay, perfect.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
All right, ladies, I'm going to
Can
say
I give
thank you.
Karen time to just copy the link?
Oh, okay, no problem.
Just get her to confirm she's got it before you sign off.
You got the link, Karen?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank
Welcome.
you.
All right, beautiful. All right, so ladies, thank you so much for joining me. It's always been a pleasure and a delight. Thank you for your questions, and I will see you again this time next week. Sweet good night. Ciao, ciao.